We've all met that woman who walks into a room and instantly shifts its energy. And not necessarily because she's the youngest or prettiest, but because there's something incredibly magnetic in the way she moves, speaks, and inhabits herself. But the problem is the advice women usually hear about attraction is manipulative at best. It tells you to be mysterious, to lean way back, to pretend not to care, or to act like someone you're not. This shallow approach is what experts call the performance of desire. But real attraction isn't performative. And if you're smart and emotionally aware, you've probably sensed that a long time ago. So my guess is you didn't come here for another tactic. You want something deeper, and that deeper thing is what Esther Perell calls erotic intelligence. The subtle skill of balancing emotional intimacy with real autonomy, security with adventure, and vulnerability with boundaries. But erotic intelligence isn't something you fake, it's a skill you cultivate. It's about how you inhabit yourself, how you communicate your desires, and how naturally you hold the tension between closeness and space. Exactly what makes a mature woman genuinely irresistible. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through 5 practical habits that embody Esther Perell's idea of erotic intelligence. These aren't rules you memorize. They're subtle ways of showing up that inspire authentic, heartfelt attraction, the kind that men feel instantly and women carry out naturally without needing to force anything. Before we dive into the 6 habits, I want to clear something up because the word erotic is often misunderstood, and those misconceptions might hold you back from fully embracing its power in your life. First, we confuse erotic with explicit sexuality or with lust. But as psychotherapist Esther Perell reminds us, eroticism isn't just about sex. It's about aliveness, vitality, and emotional connection. Esther Perell is known worldwide for her groundbreaking work on desire and intimacy. And I chose her precisely because she moves beyond cliches and offers something deeper and more emotionally intelligent, exactly what I have observed mature, thoughtful women crave today. Second, we assume being erotic means performing or using superficial charm to attract attention. But genuine eroticism, as psychotherapist Audre Lorde beautifully described, is actually about authenticity. It's about genuinely inhabiting your inner world, your creativity, emotions, and natural expression, not putting on an act for anyone else. And third, we often misunderstand eroticism as something you either have or you don't. But renowned psychologist Jack Morin argued the opposite. Eroticism is an innate charisma reserved for a lucky few. It's a skill you consciously develop, deepen, and embody through practice and self-awareness. So here's my richer, nuanced definition of erotic intelligence. Erotic intelligence is your ability to consciously engage your mind, body, emotions, and imagination by skillfully balancing essential human opposite tensions like intimacy and autonomy, security and adventure, mystery and transparency, passion and security, giving and receiving, comfort and risk, desire and contentment, surrender and agency, and vulnerability and boundaries. It's about cultivating genuine emotional presence so attraction flows naturally without force. And if you're still saying to yourself, Bern, I get this intellectually, but why should I actually care? Here's why. When you embody erotic intelligence, men don't just notice you, they feel deeply drawn to you because your presence sparks something rare and intuitive inside him, a powerful curiosity, a desire to know you more deeply, and an instinctive pull to step closer and show up for you in ways they can't fully explain, but profoundly feel. In other words, he won't know what hit him, but he'll want you more. Now, let's explore 6 practical habits you can embody starting today to cultivate exactly this kind of erotic intelligence. The first habit is about clearly voicing your desires with confidence and also grace. Esther Perell describes this beautifully. She says, owning desire means owning the wanting. It's about having the courage to express what you want openly and without apology. Women who cultivate erotic intelligence are willing to voice their desires out loud because this honest expression creates the foundation for intimacy, an intimacy that feels personal and real instead of performative. Now, for me, voicing your desires of both confidence and grace means naming what genuinely lights you up and doing it in a way that feels warm, inviting, and still direct and clear. It's not about making demands or being vague and hoping the other person guesses. Instead, it's about asking for what would feel amazing to you in this very moment. It's similar to sitting down in a nice restaurant where you don't anxiously hope for the waiter to read your mind and you don't nervously apologize for having food preferences. You simply say something like, hey, I love the steak, medium with a mushroom sauce on the side, and thank you. You're clear, direct, and fully comfortable in your request. And because you're clear, the waiter knows exactly how to make the experience satisfying and fun for you. Expressing your desires in intimate relationships works exactly the same way. So how do you actually practice this? Well, next time someone asks you what you feel like doing, instead of defaulting to, I don't mind, or whatever you prefer, pause, breathe, and notice what genuinely excites you and say something clear and inviting like, hey, honestly, I'd love to hear some light music today. That's what I feel like. Or if you're craving quality time with someone, don't wait in silence. Say something like, hey, tonight, I'd really love some time together, just the two of us. Instead of going out with your friends, can we plan something special for just us soon? Even in physical intimacy, rather than hoping your partner mysteriously guesses your favorite way of kissing, guide him. Gently say something like, can you kiss me a little bit softer and slower? Or this feels amazing. You're warmly inviting him closer, clearly showing him how to make you feel good and creating a moment that feels intimate, authentic, and deeply connected. Each time you practice voicing your desires this way, directly and from your heart, you deepen your erotic intelligence and naturally become more attractive without ever needing to force this thing or to manipulate anyone. If you're single and you're watching this, I'd be willing to bet you're not aware of the root cause why you're still single. So what I've done is I've taken 14 years of helping women in every walk of life, 24 countries, to find their ideal life partners. And I've created a quiz you can take in about 60 seconds that will reveal to you the number one reason you're still single. In other words, your number one attraction blind spot. If you want to participate, all you have to do is go to the first link in the description of this video. You'll see a page that looks like this. Answer a few simple questions, and within 60 seconds, you'll get the answer to the elusive question why you're still single, and a custom report based on your unique blind spot that will share the number one thing you can do today to attract the relationship you want in a fraction of the time. The second habit is about creating a healthy space for desire to grow. Esther Perell explains that desire naturally thrives in a space that includes just enough distance, uncertainty, and room for longing. She often says that fire needs air, and similarly, desire needs space, moments apart, and subtle unknowns to intensify and naturally flourish rather than constantly seeking reassurance or closeness. Women who embody erotic intelligence understand that strategic and healthy space deepens attraction far more effectively than endless availability. So for me, creating a healthy space for desire to grow means consciously allowing room for curiosity, anticipation, and authentic longing to emerge. It's not about being distant or withholding attention in a manipulative way. It's about genuinely nurturing your own emotional autonomy so the other person experiences you as emotionally present and connected, but never emotionally dependent. Now, imagine you're listening to a beautiful song. If the notes were played all at once without any silence between them, the melody would disappear, turning into noise. The beauty, emotion, and magic come from those pauses between the notes, those tiny gaps that create the rhythm, anticipation that make you feel something deeply. And relationships and attraction work exactly the same way. It's in these subtle spaces and pauses that genuine desire can grow. So how do you practice this? Well, if you catch yourself anxiously waiting to reply every single time a message arrives, then try pausing and give yourself a little bit of space to breathe, reflect, and respond with more presence instead of urgency. Instead of constantly texting, consciously choose moments to step away, allowing anticipation and curiosity to build naturally. Or if you notice you're spending every available moment together, then try scheduling intentional time apart to engage in something you deeply enjoy on your own. Maybe that's yoga, painting, seeing friends, or taking a solo walk in nature. Returning after the space naturally reawakens curiosity, anticipation, and desire. Even in the early phases of dating, instead of immediately feeling silence with uncertainty, with a message asking something like, hey, are we okay? Gently lean into the tension. Allow the quiet space a little bit longer to become something that makes the next connection even more welcome and sweeter. When you deliberately create these small moments of healthy space, you're shifting the dynamic from predictable routine into something subtly charged with anticipation and electricity. Instead of always leaning in, you hold yourself with just enough confidence and self-assurance that your presence becomes something he is really looking forward to, something he actively craves. This is exactly how erotic intelligence transforms connection, making attraction richer, deeper, and unmistakably real. Now, the third habit is about reconnecting with passion and everyday pleasure. Esther Perell says, desire thrives in the presence of aliveness. She emphasizes that women who embody erotic intelligence have an ability to deeply connect to the richness of their own senses, sensuality, so to speak, to feel their own bodies and emotions vividly rather than simply waiting for someone else to awaken them. For me, reconnecting with passion and pleasure isn't about self-care or indulgence. It's a more subtle shift. It's about noticing, feeling, and experiencing your everyday life more fully. It's recognizing the small moments that make your breath deepen, your skin warmer, your pulse quicken, not because you want to impress anyone, but because you're genuinely awake to your own experience. Now, think about the difference between taking a picture just because you're going to put it in Instagram versus slowly noticing and savoring the scene of an ocean right in front of you. The first is about performing. The second is about genuinely seeing. Erotic intelligence is about the second way of being. It's becoming captivated by your own experience. Now, in practice, it can mean something as simple as lingering in bed for 3 extra minutes in the morning because the sheets feel cool against your skin. Holding eye contact for a second longer in a conversation because you feel genuinely interested by the other person. Or maybe you let a delicious bite of food surprise you rather than mechanically swallowing it. When you inhabit your life in this subtle but deeper way, humans around you, but specifically men, sense something fundamentally different and more attractive about you. It's not a flashy attractiveness, but a magnetic depth they can't quite name, but instinctively lean toward. The fourth habit is about igniting connection through playful curiosity. Esther Perel often highlights curiosity as the most underrated ingredient in genuine attraction. She believes women who embody erotic intelligence aren't afraid to ask questions, explore without expectation, and invite a sense of playful intrigue into their interactions. For her, curiosity creates a psychological tension that deepens attraction, turning ordinary conversations into moments charged with subtle excitement. Now, for me, igniting connection through playful curiosity means shifting away from predictable bringing interactions and moving toward conversations that reveal something real and unexpected about both you and the other person. It's about genuinely wanting to discover, not to be liked or to sound intriguing, but simply because the act of discovery itself lights you up. Think about how you might feel discovering a hidden door in a familiar house. The room behind it was always there, but now you're excited to explore what lies inside it. Asking deeper, more surprising questions in conversation works the same way. It opens doors to parts of a person you never knew existed, inviting excitement, vulnerability, deepening reciprocation, and authentic connection. Now, in practical terms, instead of defaulting to basic questions like, how was your day? He's asked something more evocative, like, what made you feel most alive today? Or tell me something you rarely get asked, but secretly love answering. Or maybe what's something you wish more people understood about you? Or even if you could relive one moment from your life exactly as it happened. Wow, these subtle shifts move conversations from predictable routines into deeper, more emotionally charged exchanges. When you show up this way with curiosity and a desire to uncover something meaningful, men feel your interest as something rare, emotionally compelling, and impossible to ignore. The fifth and final habit is about setting boundaries with grace and clarity. Esther Perel describes boundaries as essential, not just for healthy relationships, but also for genuine attraction. She emphasizes that clear boundaries aren't walls to keep people out, but are guidelines that teach others how to treat you and invite them closer in ways that feel genuinely good and safe for both of you. For me, setting boundaries with grace and clarity is less about saying no and more about courageously defining your yeses. It means gently but firmly expressing how you want to be treated, respected, and loved. Is having the courage to voice your truth without apology or aggression, but with kindness, with calmness, and with care. Imagine driving along a beautiful road overlooking the ocean. Guardrails aren't there to limit your view or your freedom. They're there to keep you safely on your path, allowing you to relax and fully enjoy the view and the drive. Clear boundaries serve exactly this purpose in relationships. They let you connect, knowing you're emotionally safe and respected. Brené Brown wisely said, "You cannot be vulnerable without having boundaries." This means communicating your needs in everyday situations. For example, instead of constantly tolerating repeated last-minute cancellations from someone because his work usually runs, or maybe he overcommits socially, you might calmly say, "Hey, I totally get that work can get overwhelming and things pop up. And at the same time, it feels important for me to know I can count on our plans. Could you set up a time next time we see each other when you're sure you'll be free?" Or if you receive a late night text and you prefer earlier communication, you can warmly but clearly share, "Hey, I love hearing from you, and I typically don't look at my phone after 10. So could we reconnect tomorrow?" Earlier in life, I've struggled with boundaries because I was really afraid of pushing people away. But once I started understanding that people in my life who are really valuable, who care about me, will show up more fully, will respect me more, will value the honesty and the courage it took for me to say, "Here's exactly what I need to move forward," people started showing up differently. I'm by no means an expert in boundaries, but I can say that the courage of a trembling hand and a shaky voice in saying, "Would you mind doing it this way?" Or, "I don't appreciate when you talk to me that way. Would you mind this instead?" When you say those types of things to people you care about, people who are intelligent and emotionally aware and safe tend to show up. So my message to you right now is this: if you want to stand out more powerfully, not for a man, not to be loved or liked, but because you want your life to be more meaningful, you want your life to be more connected, you want to not die with your music in you, as Wayne Dyer once said, then erotic intelligence is the path to that freedom. Hope you like and enjoy this, and if you do, it would mean the world to me if you click like and subscribe. More importantly than that, if you found this meaningful, please share it with someone you love who needs to hear this. And if you'd like to continue learning how you can attract the relationship you want without the need for gimmicks, manipulation, or stupid techniques, make sure you watch the next video right here.